Once upon a time, in the deepest, most magical part of the ocean, where the water was crystal clear and painted in shades of turquoise and sapphire, there lived the most extraordinary coral reef you could ever imagine. This reef was like an underwater rainbow city with corals of every color, bright orange brain corals that looked like giant flowers, purple sea fans that swayed gently like underwater trees, and yellow tube sponges that reached up toward the distant sunlight above. In this wonderful reef lived hundreds of sea creatures. There were striped clownfish with their bright orange and white collars, elegant angelfish with flowing fins, playful seahorses that danced among the seaweed, and wise old sea turtles who had traveled the seven seas. But among all these beautiful creatures, there was one very special little fish who was different from all the others. Her name was Shimmer, and she was the most unique fish in the entire reef. While other fish had beautiful colors and patterns, Shimmer had something truly magical. Her tail glowed with a soft, silvery light that sparkled like moonbeams dancing on water. The light wasn't harsh or bright, but gentle and warm, like a tiny lighthouse in the deep blue sea. Shimmer was about the size of your hand, with scales that shimmered in shades of pearl and silver. Her eyes were large and kind, the color of sea glass, and her fins moved gracefully through the water like silk ribbons in the wind. But it was her glowing tail that made her truly special. It pulsed gently with light, creating beautiful patterns that changed with her mood. Now, you might think that having such a magical gift would make Shimmer the happiest fish in the sea, but sadly, that wasn't the case. You see, Shimmer's glowing tail, while beautiful, made her feel very different from her friends, and sometimes being different can feel lonely. Every afternoon, when the ocean was filled with the warm, filtered sunlight from above, all the young fish in the reef would gather in the sandy clearing between the coral formations to play their favorite game, hide and seek. There was Finn the clownfish, who could hide perfectly among the orange anemones. There was Luna the blue tang, who could disappear among the purple corals. There was Dash the yellow butterfly fish, who could camouflage himself among the golden sea fans. But poor Shimmer, no matter where she tried to hide, her glowing tail would give her away immediately. She would squeeze behind the darkest coral caves, nestle deep within the thickest seaweed forests, or burrow into the softest sand dunes. But always, that gentle glow from her tail would betray her hiding spot, and she would be found first, every single time. "Found you, Shimmer." The other fish would call out, not meaning to be unkind, but not understanding how their words made her feel. Your tail was glowing behind that rock. When it was Shimmer's turn to be the seeker, things were even more difficult. The light from her tail would illuminate everything around her, creating a soft bubble of light that followed her everywhere she went. When she tried to peek into dark crevices and shadowy hiding spots, her own light would shine so brightly that it would warn the hiding fish of her approach. "Shimmer's coming," they would whisper to each other. "We can see her light from far away." Day after day, this happened. And day after day, Shimmer would swim home to her family's cozy cave in the side of a large coral formation, feeling sad and frustrated. Her cave was decorated with the most beautiful treasures from the sea-smooth pearls that her grandfather had collected, colorful shells that sang soft songs when the current flowed through them, and glowing sea glass that had been polished smooth by the waves. But even surrounded by all these beautiful things, Shimmer felt unhappy. She would float sadly in her room, watching her tail's gentle glow reflect off the pearl-covered walls, wishing more than anything that she could be just like the other fish. One evening, as the sun was setting far above the ocean surface and the reef was beginning to glow with the soft bioluminescence of nighttime sea creatures, Shimmer's father, Neptune, swam into her room. Neptune was a wise old fish, much larger than Shimmer, with scales that had once glowed just like hers, but had faded to a soft silver with age. His eyes were kind and deep, filled with the wisdom that comes from many years of swimming through life's currents. My little moonbeam, he said gently, using the pet name he had called her since she was tiny. Why do you look so sad? I can see in your eyes that something is troubling your heart. Shimmer sighed deeply, creating a small stream of bubbles that rose toward the surface. Oh, Papa, she said, her voice heavy with sadness. I hate my glowing tail. It makes me different from everyone else. I can't play hide and seek like my friends. I can't hide anywhere, and when I'm supposed to find others, I give myself away before I can find them. I wish I could be normal, like Finn and Luna and Dash. Neptune's eyes grew soft with understanding. He settled down beside his daughter, his large fin gently wrapping around her small shoulders. I understand how you feel, my dear one, he said quietly. When I was your age, I had the same glowing tail, and I felt exactly the same way. Shimmer's eyes widened with surprise. You did, Papa? But how did you... What happened to your glow? As I grew older, the glow naturally became softer, Neptune explained. But I want to tell you something important that I learned when I was young. You see, I spent so many years wishing I could be like the other fish, wishing I could hide my light, that I almost missed the most important lesson of all. What lesson, Papa? Neptune's voice became warm and wise. I learned that our differences aren't obstacles to overcome. They're gifts to discover how to use. Your light isn't a problem to solve, my darling. It's a superpower waiting to be understood. Shimmer tilted her head, confused. A superpower? But Papa, it makes everything harder. Does it? Neptune asked with a gentle smile. Or have you just not learned how to use it properly yet? Tell me, little one, what makes a fish good at hide and seek? Shimmer thought for a moment. Well, being able to hide well, and being able to find others well. Exactly. And what do you mean to find others well? You need to be able to see them, double quote. Yes, and what helps you see in dark places? Suddenly, Shimmer's eyes began to sparkle with understanding. Light helps you see in dark places. That's right, my brilliant daughter. You've been thinking of your light as something that gives you away. But what if instead it's something that helps you see what others cannot? That night, Shimmer could barely sleep. Her mind was racing with new ideas and possibilities. She spent hours swimming around her room, experimenting with her tail, watching how the light behaved, thinking about her father's words. The next morning, instead of joining her friends for their usual games right away, Shimmer asked if she could have some time to practice something new. She spent the entire morning exploring every corner of the reef, but this time, instead of trying to hide her light, she paid attention to how it worked. She discovered that when she tucked her tail close to her body, the light became more concentrated and could shine like a spotlight into dark crevices. When she spread her tail wide, the light became softer and more diffused, gently illuminating larger areas. She learned that she could angle her tail to bounce light off the sandy bottom or off the shiny surfaces of shells and pearls, creating reflections that could help her see around corners. She also noticed something else wonderful. When she held very still and dimmed her light as much as possible, many of the reef's nocturnal creatures would come out to investigate. Curious crabs would scuttle closer, tiny seahorses would flutter near her fins, and even shy octopi would peek out from their hiding spots. But most importantly, she realized that she could use various objects in the reef to modify her light. Certain types of seaweed could filter her glow, making it different colors. Some corals had natural holes that could focus her light into narrow beams. And some of the reef's crystalline formations could split her light into beautiful rainbow patterns. That afternoon, when her friends gathered for their daily hide and seek game, Shimmer swam up to them with more confidence than she had felt in months. "Can I be the seeker first today?" she asked. Her friends looked at each other with surprise. Usually, Shimmer tried to avoid being the seeker because it was so difficult for her. "Are you sure, Shimmer?" asked Finn the clownfish kindly. We'll be able to see your light coming from far away. I'm sure, Shimmer said with a mysterious smile. But I want to try something different today. Would you all be willing to play in the deep gardens? The deep gardens were a part of the reef that was darker and more complex than their usual playing area. It was filled with tall coral formations, underwater caves, and thick forests of kelp. Most of the fish usually avoided playing there because it was harder to see. The deep gardens? Asked Luna the blue tang uncertainly, but it's so dark there. How will we be able to see to play? Trust me, Shimmer said with growing excitement. I think we'll be able to see just fine. Curious about what Shimmer had in mind, the fish agreed to try the new location. They all swam together to the deep gardens, which were indeed much darker than their usual playing area. The sunlight from the surface barely reached this deep part of the reef, and mysterious shadows danced between the coral formations. Okay, everyone hide, Shimmer called out cheerfully. I'll count to 50 and then come looking for you. As Shimmer counted, floating in place with her eyes closed, her friends scattered throughout the deep gardens. Finn swam into a dark cave filled with sea anemones. Luna hid among some deep purple corals. Dash squeezed between two tall coral formations. And several other fish found creative hiding spots in the shadowy underwater landscape. When Shimmer finished counting, she began her search. But this time, instead of feeling frustrated by her glowing tail, she used it as her secret weapon. She approached Finn's hiding cave and used her tail like a flashlight, directing a focused beam of light into the darkness. The light revealed not only the beautiful anemones, but also a familiar flash of orange and white stripes. Found you, Finn, she called out happily. Finn emerged from the cave, amazed. Wow, Shimmer. I've never seen anyone search so effectively in the deep areas. Next, Shimmer swam toward Luna's hiding spot. She had noticed some purple corals swaying slightly in an area where there was no current. Using her tail, she created a soft, diffused glow that gently illuminated the entire area. Sure enough, she spotted Luna's bright blue color among the purple corals. Found you too, Luna. One by one, Shimmer found each of her friends, using her light in clever and creative ways. She bounced light off reflective surfaces to see around corners, used narrow beams to peer into tiny crevices, and created broad illumination to reveal movement in large areas. But the most amazing discovery came when she was looking for Dash, who had found an incredibly clever hiding spot. Shimmer was having trouble locating him, even with her light, so she decided to try something new. She dimmed her glow as much as possible and waited very quietly. Suddenly, she noticed something magical happening. The bioluminescent creatures of the deep reef began to emerge, drawn by her gentle light. Tiny glowing plankton drifted out from their hiding places, creating a constellation of small lights that revealed the shape of the reef in a completely new way. And there, outlined by the gentle glow of the plankton he had disturbed, was Dash's hiding spot. Found you, Dash, Shimmer called out excitedly. When all her friends had been found, they gathered around Shimmer in amazement. That was incredible, said Finn. I've never seen anyone play hide and seek like that. How did you learn to use your light so well? Asked Luna. And how did you make all those glowing creatures come out? Added Dash. Shimmer glowed brighter with happiness and pride. I realized that my light isn't something to hide from. It's something to learn how to use. My papa helped me understand that being different isn't a problem. It's a gift. Now it was time for Shimmer to hide while one of her friends seeked. She swam away to find the perfect hiding spot, but this time, she wasn't looking for the darkest corner or the thickest seaweed. Instead, she was thinking strategically about how to use her light to her advantage. She found a beautiful area where several large, colorful sea fans grew close together, their surfaces covered in small, naturally luminescent creatures. Shimmer positioned herself among them and used a piece of translucent seaweed to filter her tail's glow. making it blend with the natural bioluminescence of the sea fans. To make her disguise even more effective, she gently encouraged some of the area's natural glowing creatures to cluster around her. Soon, she was surrounded by a natural light show that completely camouflaged her own glow. When Finn began seeking, he swam right past Shimmer's hiding spot several times. Her light blended so perfectly with the natural lights around her that she was completely invisible. "I give up," Finn called out after searching for a long time. "Shimmer, where are you?" Shimmer emerged from her hiding spot with a huge smile, startling all her friends. "You were right there the whole time," gasped Luna. "But how did you hide your light?" "I didn't hide it," Shimmer explained happily. "I learned to blend it. Instead of fighting against what makes me different, I found ways to use it cleverly." From that day forward, Shimmer became the most popular fish to play with in the entire reef. Her unique abilities made the games more exciting and allowed her friends to explore parts of the reef they had never been able to see before. She could lead them on underwater adventures, lighting their way through coral caves and kelp forests that had always been too dark to explore safely. But more than that, Shimmer had learned something much more valuable than just how to play games. She had learned that the things that make us different are often the things that make us special. She had learned that instead of wishing to be like everyone else, she could celebrate what made her unique and find ways to use her special qualities to help herself and others. Word of Shimmer's amazing abilities spread throughout the reef. Soon, fish from far and wide would come to ask for her help. Lost fish would seek her out to light their way home. Young fish would ask her to help them explore new areas of the reef safely. Even the wise old sea turtles would request her assistance in finding rare shells and treasures in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean. Shimmer's parents were incredibly proud of their daughter. Her father, Neptune, would often watch her playing with her friends or helping other sea creatures, and his eyes would fill with joy. "You found your light, my little moonbeam," he would say. "Not just the light in your tail, but the light in your heart." As time went on, Shimmer grew more confident and creative with her gift. She learned to create different patterns with her light, making beautiful displays that brought joy to all the creatures of the reef. During the reef's festivals and celebrations, Shimmer's light shows became the highlight of every event. She also used her light to help in more serious situations. When storms would stir up the ocean and make the water murky and dark, Shimmer would help guide fish families back to their homes. When young fish would get lost exploring, Shimmer would be called upon to lead rescue expeditions. Her light became a symbol of hope and safety throughout the reef. But perhaps most importantly, Shimmer became an inspiration to other young fish who felt different or out of place. She would tell them her story and encourage them to embrace their unique qualities rather than trying to hide them. "Everyone has something special about them," she would say. "The key is not to wish you were like everyone else, but to discover how to use what makes you different in wonderful ways." And so, in the magical coral reef beneath the sparkling waves, Shimmer the glowing fish lived happily ever after, surrounded by friends who loved her exactly as she was, using her special light to bring joy, safety, and wonder to all the creatures of the sea. Every night, as the reef settled into peaceful sleep, Shimmer's gentle glow would pulse softly through the water like an underwater lullaby, reminding everyone that being different is not something to hide from, but something to celebrate. And they all lived happily ever after in the most beautiful coral reef in all the ocean, where every creature was valued for exactly what made them special and unique. Sleep tight, little ones, and remember, just like Shimmer, the things that make you different are the things that make you wonderful. Just like Shimmer discovered her special light, you have something magical inside you too. What makes you different makes you amazing. Sweet dreams, and remember to shine your light bright tomorrow. Dear parents, thank you for sharing this bedtime journey with your child. These magical moments of storytelling create lasting memories and important life lessons. If this story helped your little one drift off to peaceful dreams, we'd love to hear about it. Join our magical community. Subscribe for new bedtime stories every week. Ring the bell so you never miss a soothing tale. Give us a thumbs up if Shimmer's story brought smiles to your bedtime routine. Check out our playlist for more underwater adventures and magical bedtime stories. Sweet dreams from all of us. See you in the next magical tale.
A fish with light so true. Shimmer swims with glowing tail in our gentle bedtime tale. Shimmer, shimmer, shine your light. Guide us softly through the night. In the coral garden deep, close your eyes and fall asleep. Hard before, light would show her more and more, but she learned to use her gift like the gentle ocean drift. Shimmer, shimmer, shine your light. Guide us softly through the night. In the coral garden deep, close your eyes and fall asleep. Papa taught her how to see. Different means you're meant to be. Special in your own sweet way, like the stars that end the day. Shimmer, shimmer, dreams take flight.